Let's talk housing affordability right now. I have a search criteria set up in Hamilton for some clients that are looking to list their property in the new year. And what I want to bring to your attention is the ridiculous affordability of Hamilton right now. Currently, at the moment, I'm living in Toronto. We are house sitting for somebody, and I am surrounded by the most beautiful homes, and I'm loving it, soaking it up. Love the vibe, love the energy of the city. I actually miss Hamilton quite a bit right now. Miss our community and our friends. It's crazy. It's a city with grit. But man, let me tell you, once it gets in you, it's hard to pull it out. As my neighbor says, how long have you lived here for? 6 months. The city of Hamilton, it's in your marrow and you can't get rid of it. And she's right. Anyhow, let's talk about affordability. I'm helping somebody right now look for a rental property in Toronto, and it's been really interesting and a great exercise seeing the cost differential between Hamilton and Toronto. And I have a few other listings in other areas, so I'm very aware on a weekly basis of where we're sitting in the market throughout southwestern Ontario between Toronto, Hamilton, and Niagara area. So I just want to bring up that if you are a first-time home buyer and you are actually looking at purchasing a home, or you're contemplating purchasing versus renting, there are homes in Hamilton right now that have sold, pending, waiting for closing, less than $400,000. So, and in great neighborhoods, Strathcona, the North End. I know Hamilton downtown gets a lot of smack based on the druggies and all that stuff. And I will say, after living downtown for 4 years, it can get to you. So if you think that you can't handle homelessness and the drugs that are still going on, although they are pocketed in certain areas, then Hamilton downtown is not for you. So just stay away from it. Look up towards the mountain. It's definitely a little bit different up there, but you're going to pay for that. So here we are. What I want to bring up is the cost differential and do a little bit of a basically cost analysis of renting versus buying, and depending on what your budget is, why you should consider buying if you're thinking of living in Hamilton or moving to Hamilton or just getting into the market. So there's a house on Ray Street, 215 Ray Street North, that it's conditionally sold for $395. So let's run the numbers on a house for $395 purchasing right now. So if you're a first-time home buyer, you're only going to have to put 5% down. You could put more down if you have it down, which would lower your mortgage payment substantially. So your mortgage principal would be $375,000. Current 5-year. I mean, if you're anywhere around in a fixed rate of 3.79 to 4.69, great. Rent for a comparable property is going to cost you about $2,500. Let's do a rent versus buy comparison. So this is in the first year. Your housing payment, if you're renting, is $2,500 on average, which is pretty accurate. If you're purchasing, your mortgage would be $1,981 at that price. So yes, renting costs you more up front. Insurance, you're going to pay way less if you're renting versus buying. You will pay on average for that size house probably around $120 a month. Property taxes, it would be less than $5,000 in Hamilton. Probably for that size house, you'd pay about $3,500. But for argument's sake, I've gone high in my estimates and set around $500. Maintenance would be about $329. So if you're renting, your monthly would only be $2,500. If you're purchasing, your monthly would be $2,900, give or take a few. So that puts you at a plus for buying of $398. If you know you're going to be there for a while, and this is why I would suggest a city like Hamilton, especially if you're commuting to Toronto and you're working in the downtown or West End area. Yes, your buying is more expensive monthly, and we do buy to the monthly. That's pretty standard. However, over 5 years, if you know you're going to stay there, you're basically ahead by about $8,800, because remember, you have a certain percentage of your payment that goes directly to the interest rate. And it does take about 5 years to get to that crossover point, because your equity gained by buying will end up being your $19,000 that you put down, plus the principal paid over the 60 months. So you have essentially a surplus at the end of it of about net wealth gained of $68,000, which is substantially better than paying rent, which over 5 years you would have paid out $151,000 in rent with nothing to show for it. And I still have a hard time with that, because it's a lot of money. So these are the things that you need to weigh out when you're considering. I mean, if you have a job that you're picking up and you're moving and you're in different areas all the time, then perhaps purchasing a property isn't for you. It's funny, we went to a restaurant last night in Leslieville, and the server asked us where we were from, and it's kind of weird right now because my husband and I are in sort of limbo, and my daughter was with us, and so she's from Waterloo, and obviously we're Hamiltonians. And when we brought that up, he's like, "Oh my God, I love Hamilton. It's like a city with grit." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, there's a lot of grit there." And he's like, "It's not just that though. It's like the people are so nice, and there's so much nature, and you have all of this, like the waterfalls and the waterfront and the food scene." And I'm like, "Yep, and that's what sucks you into Hamilton." And they are doing a lot of work on the downtown core, TD Coliseum. The building that they're doing on the corner of Barton and James Street is pretty phenomenal right now, and will really anchor that. And there are some really heavy hitters of people that have a very vested interest in that particular part of Hamilton. Pete, that owns Architect, he's Hamiltonian through and through, and he has big visions for that particular area. So it's people like that that really have invested in the city, and all of the restaurant owners there. I mean, I can't speak enough to the restaurant scene in Hamilton. And I mean, that is a meeting place for people. That is what gives it a sense of community, the neighbors. The biggest thing I miss the most right now is a sense of community that happened organically to us when we moved into our neighborhood. And I miss my neighbors. Like, wow, do I miss my neighbors. But we have some big plans ahead of us, which we will be sharing with you. And I just wanted to bring that up regarding the cost analysis benefit of buying versus renting. The other thing that you need to consider as well for a house of that price point, because it is crazy to me how many homes I'm seeing on my list come up that are under the $500,000 range, that are under the $400,000 range. Like, it's insane. Hamilton is a city, though, where you need to be working with somebody who knows the area, because it's like being in the States in a large city. You can be one street over and you screwed up. You can be another street over, and it's amazing what happened. We were very particular when we purchased in Hamilton. There are a lot of homes that have come off market, which, keep in mind, it doesn't mean that they're not for sale. So remember that. The agent can definitely, that's how I bought my first home. It went off market because the owners were so disillusioned, and they got lowballed offers like ridiculous for what it was worth. And my home, basically, it quadrupled in value over the duration of time that I owned it, which was 26 years, my first home. So keep that in mind. Hamilton is a city that has that potential, because the buy-in is pretty ridiculously low right now if you're looking to buy. And it's very important to run your numbers. And AI is ridiculously easy to run those scenarios for you so that you can have an accurate pricing on everything. Reach out to your agent. If you don't have one, reach out to me. I'm happy to help you out, and we will go from there. Ciao. Peace out. Love y'all. Ciao for now. Bye.